The analogy to a paired experiment when x is greater than 2 is called a randomized block experiment. The way to create blocks is to create groups and units for each group. The x units must be homogeneous within each group. This is to say that when conducting a random block experiment, the blocks are the variables that can change, while the different x's will be the same throughout. The need to have these units homogeneous is to avoid extraneous variation that could interfere over the relation of the factor effects. Moving on to blocks in general, as you can see, each of the 4 x's within the blocks are the same, but under different conditions within each block. These different conditions being the different cities, New York, Florida, Texas, and Oregon. More on that later. An engineering example to help illustrate the use for random block experiments is the effect of humidity on pesticide. Each block is separated by cities throughout the country, and 4 pesticides' effectiveness were tested. The block locations were selected as to give the largest range of humidities in the nation, ranging from a state like New York and Florida, which are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Moving on to how to display this data, you can do that through an observation table. When tested, a specific value is found determining how well the pesticide performed on a scale of 0 to 100. Thus, there is a use for totals and means. The usefulness in totals comes from seeing which pesticide has the highest number. Overall, as you can see here, it is just the added ones together. You can see New York has the highest total overall, as well as pesticide 4 has the highest total for pesticides. Means are pretty similar, but they have a smaller value because they are the average between all of these cities and pesticides. Really, an observation table is a means to an end when looking at an ANOVA table, and the point of an ANOVA table is to display the analysis of variance. By looking at the data presented, we typically identify significantly different brands. Our main purpose of using the ANOVA table is the p-value at the end. Depending on the size of the value, we can determine if the hypothesis is likely or not. In this example's case, the fact that the p-values at the 0.05 significance level were this large shows that the hypothesis posed at the beginning of the test is possible. Overall, the point of random block experiments is to allow an individual to look at 2 factors that may affect each other and draw conclusions from it.